The most powerful position in world sport is up for grabs early next year. But two prominent frontrunners could not even make it to the starting line. The IOC's Ethics Commission has issued a notification on the March 2025 election, which leaves Sebastian Coe and Juan Samaranch Jr. in a bit of a bother. IOC President Thomas Bach announced his decision not to seek a third term towards the end of the Paris Olympics. That third term would have been against the existing rules of the Olympic movement. All candidates for the post of president have to inform the IOC by September 15th, and the formal announcement of their candidatures will be made a day later. Now, the Ethics Commission, led by former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, sent a letter to all 111 IOC members on Monday, clarifying the election eligibility. Crucially, the letter states the winning candidate should be an IOC member on the day of his or her election and must remain a member through the entirety of the 8-year term. World Athletics head Sebastian Coe, who is 67, and IOC Vice President Samaranch Jr. are most affected by this ruling, unless they manage to garner a special exemption. Coe's IOC's membership is linked to his World Athletics job, which expires in 2027. Samaranch can get a 4-year extension from the executive board to circumvent the 70-year age limit for IOC members. Juan Samaranch Jr. was in New Delhi a few days ago for the General Assembly of the Olympic Council of Asia. His close friend Ranveer Singh was elected president unanimously, and it is believed the Spaniard was pressing his case with a total of 21 IOC members representing the continent of Asia. WION Sports editor Digvijay caught up with Samaranch Jr. for this exclusive chat on the Olympic movement.
A new era beckons for the International Olympic Committee, with Thomas Bach's tenure coming to an end next year. What is the road ahead for the International Olympic Committee? I'm privileged to be joined by Juan Samaranch Jr., IOC Vice President. First question, we've just seen Ranveer Singh's election as the President of the Olympic Council of Asia. He's an old friend of yours. You, in fact, have been visiting India many times, and it's a huge honor for India. He's the first Indian to head the continental body.
Well, I think it's much more honor for the Olympic Council of Asia to have Ranveer running them. So it's very good news. And it comes after a period of turmoil and confusion at the Olympic Council of Asia that needed to end. The Olympic Council of Asia is one of the most important constituencies of the Olympic movement. It represents a very important continent and a continent that is extremely active. And with the leadership of Ranveer, we are happy to have that Olympic Council of Asia, OCA, back in full force.
Okay. He's also Indian, and I think we will still sort of claim him. But how does this benefit India as well? Because he's had a long career in sports management. There is talk of an Indian Olympic bid, perhaps. Will that be an asset, having a senior position occupied by an Indian?
Yeah, it certainly helps, but it's not the position. Mr. Singh, Ranveer Singh, he has much more than a position. His personal status, his personal prestige and history in the Olympic movement, the friendships that he has solidified throughout the years are going to be critical for the efforts of India towards a potential bid in 36 or 40. But it's not only that, it's the generic effort of your country, the willingness of your country to join finally with full force the Olympic community. You are the largest population in the world, and Olympism is about universality. We will not be fully universal until India is a full, very important part of the Olympic movement.
Okay. Now, last month, 10th, we were all in Paris, and Thomas Bach announced that he's going to step down in March, as the election will happen at the IOC session. He's overseen a lot of changes, a lot of reforms as well in the Olympic movement. So how will the Olympic movement look back on his presidency?
Well, I think that He has made an incredible job in the 12 years that he's been president, and still he has a few months to go, which are also critical and important, so we are not letting him relax. And his legacy is extraordinary. I mean, he came in with full force. He made everybody work like crazy for 12 years. And we had the Olympic Agenda 2030 that changed the name of the game and made sure that his motto, change or be changed, that we would stay in the first part of it. So very successful presidency from all points of view that had its high note at the end, at the Paris Games, probably one of the best games in the history.
And also, for the first time, equal number of women, equal number of men as well. Perhaps a few sports where that gap still has to close, but this is a tremendous sort of achievement for the IOC as well to change so fast in so little time. Will that, do you think, define his legacy, the fact that women's events are now, the same number of women compete at the Olympics as much as men?
Well, I think it's one of the most important legacies of Thomas Bach. It started with a lot of difficulty even before Thomas, but he has managed to relentlessly pursue that objective, and he has made it in his term. So yes, it's very important. Now, how it will affect one federation, one sport or another, we just need to look at the combination of the overall and make sure that women and men are equally represented. There are many issues coming now and issues that we will have to tackle in the coming years, like transgenderism and many others, because the basic rule is that the Olympic Games and, by extension, all the international sports competition, first and foremost, they have to be fair. But we're working on it also. But yes, to your question, we are proud and happy of the achievement of full gender parity.
That takes me to my next question, because I was in Paris, as I mentioned. We saw what happened with Iman Khalifi and all of that. But how do the Olympic Games, Mr. Samaranch, evolve? There has been a push towards more TV-friendly games, youth-centric games. Cricket, which is a big thing in India, is coming into the Olympic Games in 2028 in Los Angeles. There are some, me included, who would say that I don't consider breaking to be a sport. But how do you manage that contradiction to have the traditional sports, in fact, modern pentathlon is also facing issues at the moment, or this new TV-centric, youth-oriented sports? How do you find that balance?
Well, we need a balance. I mean, we cannot just forget about that heritage and where we do come from, and we pay big tribute to our history and the history of our backbone sports in our program. But at the same time, the youth are where they are, and they do what they do, and they like what they like. And they consume sports in the way they do it. And it's not for us to tell them that they are wrong. They are right. There is no right or wrong. They are right. If they do it, that's where we have to go. We have the Olympic values, or the Olympic Games are not about only competition. It's about disseminating the Olympic values. It's our perfect opportunity to give the world, talk to the world about our values. Values about friendship, respect, excellence. It's pretty simple, but pretty complex. And we need to give the youth of the world those values, wherever they are. So we need to bring them. We need to go where they are, not just tell them watch track and field or watch swimming. If they are watching and practicing different things, we want those things.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.